Tournament nerves. You know what it's like. You practice at home, you're confident and consistent, you go out to your weekly, you chill with the homies, and you hit your B&Bs and casuals. Then the tournament starts. It's round 1. You can't anti-air to save your life. You drop combos like they burned you. You're on edge, and you don't see the raw super coming.
Wow, the trade combo.
You choke. I've talked to several players new to the competitive fighting game community over the last year who have had issues with tournament nerves. For some players, it's the physical anxiety, the sweats or the shakes. Other players might panic and make rash decisions. Or on the other end of the spectrum, they might suffer from decision paralysis during in-game situations that they should know very well. This doesn't just happen to new players either. It's a very real thing that, if I'm being perfectly honest, is still with me after over a decade of competitive play. I've learned to deal with tournament nerves over time, but they've never gone away entirely. This is a sentiment that you'll see echoed throughout the competitive scene. So I think it's worth exploring a few things that can help you cope with tournament stress. Nerves or anxiety can stem from lots of places. It can be about your environment. You can also be influenced by your physical and emotional state. So it's always a good idea to start with what you can control best, your physical state. Make sure you get lots of rest, eat something before and during the event, and stay hydrated. The better that you've prepared yourself physically, the better able you'll be to manage the stresses of tournament environments. Also, try to loosen up a little. You spend so much of these events in tense situations, hunched over a controller, staring at a screen. This is physically strenuous, and it makes you clench up, which is also how nerves make you feel, which makes you tense, and so on. It can be a vicious cycle, so take the occasional moment to walk around and break that cycle. Next up is your environment and emotional state. I talked about this in my Tournament Advice for Beginners video, and it holds true for dealing with tournament nerves on a wider scale. Get to the event early and get comfortable in the space. A lot of stress stems from just being somewhere unfamiliar. It breeds discomfort. It can affect your mood and cloud your thinking, leading to decision paralysis or lapses in judgment. Your unfamiliarity with the environment is causing you stress, which prevents you from hitting a state of flow, that state where you see all the variables and are making all the right reads, almost like the answers are just flowing out of you. Outside of that state, you're way more likely to overthink your options and freeze up. Remember that creating a comfortable environment applies to both real-world and virtual spaces. Even if you're only in Discord, you're still in a shared space with its own rules and group of regulars. It's wise to get familiar with them so you don't feel like you're talking to strangers. You don't usually get hit with that same sense of anxiety when playing in the comfort of your own personal space or with friends, so it goes a long way to have your local venue or Discord feel like home. Once you're all settled in, make a list, either physical or mental, of what you need to do as a player. Having a solid plan of attack is a good way to mitigate your worries. Consider the whole picture, from registration to checking in for your pools to reporting your matches. This way, nothing should be taking you by surprise and causing you undue stress. Finally, and this is the tip that helped me the most, learn to appreciate your successes amidst the losses. So much of my own tournament nerves are tied up in doing poorly and making a fool of myself. The fact is, we've all been there. Everyone loses sometimes, everyone drops a combo, and everyone chokes at some point. That's okay. These games are difficult. We all understand that fact, and no one who matters is going to actually think less of you if you mess up in tournament. I guarantee you that between whatever drops you're worried about, you had some notable moments as well. There's always something you did that's worth celebrating, and fighting game players want to celebrate those moments. Besides, you'll have another chance next week. It's really easy to get wrapped up in the moment and focus on today's loss. But the FGC is a vibrant community. There are so many events, both physical and digital, that this tournament that you entered isn't the be-all end-all. You can come back next week having learned something new. Knowing that every player has been in your shoes and most want to get hyped for you, not tear you down, really helps reduce the stress of doing poorly. Ultimately, we all have to learn how to handle our nerves, however they manifest, because they don't ever really go away. But they also don't have to control you or how you play. There are some tools to mitigate their impact, and as you get more exposure to tournament settings, a lot of the sources of these nerves start to become background noise. Some players even learn to thrive on that energy instead of letting it throw them off balance. You just need to find the right tools to manage your tournament nerves. Hopefully some of these tips can help you on that journey. I'm Mr. MKL, stay safe everyone, and I'll see you in the bracket.